So, I, 32 female, am a stay-at-home mom to 5 kids, a young teen, a tween, a young grammar schooler, and one older and one younger toddler. My friend, let's call her Stacy, 30 female, recently got married. About 6 months before her wedding, she asked me to make 75 cupcakes for her wedding. Baking is a hobby of mine, and I've gotten very good at it. I agreed even though I wasn't part of the wedding party and was doing this as a friend. Stacy also had 5 other people helping make the food. Well, she called me 3 weeks before the wedding and asked me to make one hungry pan of baked beans. At this point, I'm still under the impression that this will be a small wedding, so I say sure. So fast forward to 1 week before the wedding, and she calls me and tells me the guest list has grown slightly. She then told me she needed 3 huge pans of baked beans and wanted me to use a specific recipe instead of my own, and now needed 300 cupcakes instead of 75. Also, she wants me to use something other than box mix for the cupcakes, which I had planned to use since I'm buying all the ingredients for everything I'm making. She wants them to be homemade, including the frosting. They told me I was a lifesaver and ended the call before I had a chance to say anything. So for 2 days before the wedding, I was in my kitchen baking and cooking, while also taking care of my kids. When the wedding day came, I took everything to the venue and helped set everything up. Fast forward to about a week after the wedding, a mutual friend called to ask about my thank you basket from Stacy. Come to find out, she sent everyone a thank you basket for helping with the wedding, including the other people who helped with making the food, except me. I called her and talked with her. I figured I needed to let her know that I hadn't gotten mine. I know that sounds entitled. I just thought since everyone else had gotten one, maybe mine got lost. That's when she told me that she never sent me one because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it was no big deal for me to help with stuff for the wedding, but everyone else had actual jobs, so it was an inconvenience for them to help, but not me. I told her that it was hard for me to help as well and to expect a bill in the mail from me, which I did. I charged her for everything I had bought to make the food. I included copies of the recipes, a delivery fee, and a setup fee, and I charged her for my time to make everything. It totaled to right at $900. Now I have a few mutual friends telling me I'm an idiot for charging her. So am I the idiot? She considered your time useless and didn't consider that you had to tend to your children while doing everything for her. It would be one thing to ask for help and show appreciation, but it's another to expect you to help regardless of any changes made and time spent. She doesn't see you as a friend anymore. She sees you as an endless resource. You are not the idiot. She took advantage of you. Make sure she pays. If she doesn't, then take her to small claims court. There is no way the bride will pay, and there's no way OP can make her. She agreed to it verbally. No exchange of money, even for materials, was ever discussed. Her friend is a jerk, but a court would not say that any money was owed. This sucks for OP, since this was super unreasonable. And then the friend was incredibly rude, but the court would more likely view this as a free favor or even gift than any sort of job. This can't be real. You made 300 cupcakes from scratch for a wedding you weren't even in? Plus baked beans? You might be an idiot to yourself for not having a backbone. Jesus, honestly, I don't understand why you ever complied with these unreasonable requests. Do you often have trouble saying no? You should take some self-accountability for that and learn from it. I disagree. Even if the original offer was free, that was for 75 cupcakes, not 300 cupcakes and 3 big pots. I also don't think there's anything wrong if OP would have been willing to cater the wedding for some appreciation. OP, make her pay socially then. Tell others how much of a user she is and her opinions on stay-at-home moms. I'm so sick of these entitled brides and grooms thinking everyone else is supposed to fund their weddings and lifestyle. How dare she think that because you're at home, you don't work hard? Why do you pay thousands of dollars for daycare if looking after kids is a big nothing? At the very least, she should have sent you a thank you for the effort instead of insulting you. She deserves that bill, and she knows it. My wife's sister was recently found guilty of dealing to support her habit. She'll be sentenced this week and is looking toward a long term because this is not her first time caught dealing. She has 3 children, 2 boys, preschooler and kindergartner, and a girl, teen. No one on our family side wants to or is in a position to take the children, except for me and my wife. However, I'm demanding 2 conditions. If we take the children, I want us to adopt them. I don't want 50 people looking over our shoulders telling us what to do. If we're going to be legally responsible for them, I want to be able to parent them as we see fit. The second condition is that I'm willing to take the 2 boys but not the girl. The 2 boys have not had any rules in their lives and are terrors, but they're still young and can be taught right from wrong. The girl has gone past the point of no return. She's been suspended from school several times for things like fighting and smoking illegal crap on school grounds. She's also stolen from us and other family members. She's dating a gang member, 22, who was arrested on a home invasion charge, but was released because it was his first time and his age. This is a mess, and we've been arguing about it for an entire week. I don't want to risk our financial and personal security, but my wife argued that we just can't throw her away. At this point, we're not even sleeping in the same bed, but I'm hesitant to open our house up to the girl and her lifestyle. My wife argues that if we don't take her in, she'll go into foster care. But I pointed out that if we don't take any of them, they'll all go into foster care. OP, you are the idiot. The last thing she needs is to go into the system that will most certainly fail her. Her behavioral problems are directly linked to her home life. Most kids in her situation act out as a cry for help. Have you considered why she's dating a 22-year-old? Perhaps she's looking for love or looking for someone to buy her food because there's nothing at home. Or even just to escape what's most certainly a toxic home. If you think she's past the point of no return now, I can assure you that she will be after a year in the system. She already feels forgotten and unloved. This will seal the deal. Yeah, if she's a young teen and he's 22, then he should be reported to the police. You should want to protect this girl at all costs. Those boys would not be better off with you. You've shown your wife who you are. Hopefully she listens and gets herself and those kids as far away from you as possible. She's 14 years old, not 21. She's still a kid who needs support and a lot of counseling. Throwing her away because it's not easy is horrible. Those 2 boys are terrors, but can be taught. Were you still the same person you were when you were the daughter's age? Most people aren't. I have to argue that, though his reasoning is very idiotic, taking on 3 kids is still a huge ask. Even 1 is. I don't think many foster parents are willing and able to give the teen girl the attention she needs, while doing the same for 2 preschoolers who've also experienced trauma of their own, parental loss, probably some neglect before that. Foster care will likely separate them anyway because of the eldest child's history and age gap. Past the point of no return as a young teen? It's a very dramatic statement, but he's not entirely wrong. It will take a massive amount of time, money, effort, and luck to turn her life around, and that's before factoring in the brothers. I don't know why the OP is getting hate. It's his opinion, and I kind of see where he's coming from. He might have worded it harshly. However, if someone were to put themselves into his shoes, a lot of similar thoughts would go through their heads as well. This girl needs to be with people who have the training to help her. All she would do at OP's house is bring chaos. My 33-year-old husband, 34, and I have struggled with trying to conceive for more than 3 years. I don't really want to get into how I feel about all of this. I think anyone who's gone through infertility gets it. It's a depressing place to be in. Last year, out of nowhere, our sister-in-law, my husband's sister, and brother-in-law announced they were expecting. They haven't dated that long, don't have stable jobs, and are younger than us. Sister-in-law is 27. So we weren't expecting this. My parents-in-law were ecstatic since this would be the first grandchild in the family. My husband is not very close to his sister for as long as we've dated. At this point, we've been together for about 9 years. They've never visited or done anything together. Growing up, they argued a lot and never cared for each other. They have very different personalities and very different career paths. If they were not related, they probably wouldn't even say hi if they ran into each other in town. I don't know how my parents-in-law feel about this relationship. The one day in the year they want to celebrate together is Christmas Eve. It's a tradition that every year, my mother-in-law cooks and invites me and my husband, sister-in-law, and brother-in-law over. It's the only day in the year that we see these people. We have no relationship with them. Usually we go, but this year, with the baby, I'm not really in the mood to go. I know how it sounds, but being around babies is difficult for me at the moment. We're also not close to them, and I don't see the need to spend Christmas Eve together this year. Well, I mentioned this to my mother-in-law, and she called me an idiot. She told me that I was ruining the baby's first Christmas, and she practically told me she wouldn't talk to me ever again, and that our relationship was ruined. I tried explaining to her that over the past year, we've also had multiple miscarriages, one of which made me lose a lot of blood, and we had to go to the hospital, and I would just like some quiet for the holidays. But she insists that I'm not mentally okay and that I need to suck it up so that we can do Christmas Eve like we always do, for the sake of the baby, because how would your baby feel if your sister-in-law did this? Am I the idiot for not wanting to be with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and the in-laws on Christmas Eve because we've been struggling with fertility? Edit. My husband doesn't care for Christmas. He just wants to keep the peace and keep my mother-in-law happy. So when she said I wasn't mentally okay, he told her we'd look into therapy, which we won't because we're already in therapy. I'm sorry for your struggle, but you are the idiot. What bothers me most about this post is your characterization of your sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Out of nowhere, quite younger, don't really have stable jobs, and we weren't expecting this. It reads as if you feel they don't have a right to what you're trying to have because they do life differently than you do. People don't earn the right to procreate based on your standards. People are going to have babies. I assume you like babies. So it would seem to me you'd be excited to meet a brand new family member, but you're too busy thinking about how much more you deserve a baby than they do. So you're stuck in bitter land. Be happy for them. Be happy to have a new sibling. Go to the thing and see the happy new parents and their new little dumpling. I had my kid at 23 after being married for 3.5 years. I dread to think what OP would say about me. How will you feel when you do have a child and no one wants to celebrate with you because you didn't celebrate with them? I'm not judging you. However, it's a common theme here with couples that finally conceive and then they feel neglected. Yeah, OP doesn't realize that this really isn't about sister-in-law and brother-in-law and their child. It's about her unprocessed pain and the simultaneous unfairness and cruelty of biology. It's easier to not go to Christmas than to confront the pain that your journey does not look as easy as someone else's. And then because you didn't go to Christmas, it's easier to justify why you aren't at the first birthday party, the big dance recital, or Christmas 5 years later. You cannot avoid family just because they successfully had a child. Don't deprive your husband of his family. Don't put a wedge between you. His needs are important too. I, female 30, am pregnant and have recently told my friend Josie, female 28. My partner and I have been together for 10 years, and we have 4 cats together, all rescue. Upon discovering my pregnancy, my friend asked me what we would do with the cats. I asked her what she meant by that. She gave me the whole thing about pregnant ladies not being able to change litter boxes, blah, 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 and that I should give my cats away to protect the baby. I told her this was not happening. If I were to get toxoplasmosis, I probably had it by now. I grew up with cats. My family had cats before I was born and after. I've always had cats. And besides, gloves exist, and washing my hands, and my partner can change the litter box anyway. I tried to explain this to her politely. She was shocked and couldn't believe how I could be so flippant about my child's health and that I'd be a crap mother for putting cats above my child. I told her she had no idea what she was talking about, and I would be a horrible mother if I taught my child that animals are disposable. They're not. They're part of the family. She scoffed and called me an idiot. She then started telling everyone at work we worked together, and all the ladies agreed with her and believed that I should be getting rid of my cats. Not the idiot. Toxoplasmosis is very serious, but the risk can totally be mitigated as long as you're hygienic and baby-proof so that your kid can never get into the litter boxes. Thousands, at least, of women have pregnancies while sharing a home with cats. Baby's dad can clean the boxes during your pregnancy, and going forward, make sure everyone washes their hands after doing so. And if the cats are strictly indoor cats, I think it reduces the risk. Your friend is simply wrong. You're already aware of the safety measures you must take concerning the litter boxes, and you're very right about treating pets as disposable commodities. Tell the busybodies that you'd prefer to get your medical advice from your healthcare professionals. Stop telling Josie and your coworkers anything beyond good morning and wow, long day, huh? And ask your HR team whether being called an idiot and a crap mother for not getting rid of household pets is an acceptable workplace interaction. Your coworkers should mind their own business. I would seriously reconsider my friendship with Josie. Get rid of her. Keep the cats. I, 54 female, have 2 grandchildren, an infant and a preschooler, both female. Due to events outside of our control, my youngest granddaughter was born very weak and premature and will require a few operations at a young age so she can live as an adult. Unfortunately, these operations are costly and can't be sponsored by the government, so my daughter, 27, Emma, has to work overtime to afford them. My granddaughter's father's not in the picture at all. When it was discovered, I made a decision to retire early so I could help my mother-in-law, 77, look after my grandchildren. My husband, Rick, has also decided to take some extra work to help our daughter and fund the operations needed. Fortunately, we can still cover our bills with my pension and don't have a mortgage to pay. Unfortunately, we cannot send my oldest granddaughter to kindergarten as we can't risk my youngest catching a cold or an illness from her older sister. That's how crucial her condition is. She still behaves and develops like a normal infant, but is just very weak. Now, my mother, 73, also looks after my younger brother, 48. Due to an incident, he was left paralyzed when he was 20, and due to complications, he had a stroke a few years back, which means he has to be taken care of as he cannot look after himself at all. As my mother's getting older, 2 weeks ago, she announced she wanted me to look after him since I'm retiring early. However, I'm not equipped to do so. My mother has a medical degree and is a licensed nurse and carer. I've suggested putting him in a facility that can provide the care he needs, since there's no option to have it free of charge due to my mother's work history. Also, due to what happened to my granddaughter, we had to cut down the monetary support my husband sent to my mom to help with my brother. My mom doesn't want that and wants me to look after my brother, even though I've told her that I'm not equipped to do so. I have told her that I've retired early to help with my granddaughters as they need help more, and I can't risk having my brother around them, to which my mother has called me a selfish idiot. I feel I'm between a rock and a hard place. Not the idiot. I'm a licensed caregiver, and it's not an easy job. Your brother needs a level of care you cannot provide. That's why they have facilities with trained people to care for them. Your daughter and granddaughter come first. Your mom should have already prepared for this and not expect you to care for him. You see this so often here, where it's just assumed that people will provide lifelong care to their siblings, which is so unfair to both the sibling who's expected to provide care and the one who needs it. Does the brother even want his sister bathing, toileting, and caring for him in such vulnerable ways? Hard boundary? No. A facility would give him the care and social stimulation he needs, and most of all, the dignity he deserves. Free is the bonus in this situation. It makes me wonder how often OP's mother has prioritized her son over her daughter. I understand OP's brother's situation means he needs more assistance, but how often has OP's mother asked OP to sacrifice something under the threat of being selfish if she didn't? Don't let anyone guilt trip you into neglecting your family's needs.